Hello, and welcome to the sixth session of the blending of science, metaphysics, in describing how a computer simulation would work. In previous sections, I showed that 6 variables are needed to create an independent ego. However, the game wasn't going well. The players were choosing addictions over working towards WW. Something needed to be added. Uranus, the enlightener, was recently added to the player's arsenal. The players, through the use of the magic genie, had developed technology capable of observing Uranus. It would also mean that they had the technology to also hasten their demise if they go the way of addictions. Depending on karma, players get blasted with free consciousness in the vain hope that it will be used to attain win-win rather than feed the addiction. Later, Neptune was added. It distorts the hologram, making an object a god. It is placed on a pedestal, and you will do anything to maintain the illusion. Over time, this illusion will fade. The hopes here is that the players will truly see the object before his refusal destroys them. Pluto's addition to the arsenal shows the switching off the controller or superior side to bring out the unconscious, visible to all. Such a realization will either kill him or send him on a path of self-purging. In this section, I will talk about scripts. A script is like a flow diagram. You start at A, go to B, blah blah blah, all the way to Z. However, to qualify as a script, it must be a path from Z back to A. A script is a cycle. Each house in the chart is a folder on the hard drive. It will be played by one of the 12 scripts. Therefore, we should see ourselves placed in all 12 scripts. Remember, all the planets are vying for airtime, and if the commander chooses the easy way, the addiction way, then the corresponding folder and script will get a lot of airtime. The zodiacal wheel represents a circle of completion. It satisfies the criteria for a cycle. The start and the finish are synonymous. There is no residue. Hopefully, the only change entails an octave leap in consciousness. In examining the wheel, we can use any terms we want as long as we are consistent. I will use the terms as describing the signs so as to see duality expressed in the wheel. This is the chart for the masculine, starting with the wheel of the signs. I'll start with Aries, being on the first house cusp, and give it the label I am. In Aries, there is a disconnection between the entity and the rest of the universe, with Aries being I am. Then Libra would be you, the universe, anything that isn't included in I am. Next, Taurus is represented by whatever Aries or I am wants, or my values. Then Scorpio would be everything except my values. I'll label it the universal values. Gemini is labeled my wisdom. Whatever is assimilated becomes my wisdom. We communicate based on my wisdom. Sagittarius is thus the universal wisdom, the Akashic records, or the programmer's hard drive. Cancer may be labeled my consciousness. Cancer deals with roots. When we are conscious, we are not in need and free of any emotions. When we are thrown into a space of unconsciousness, then we fall into a state of need. We are disconnected from the source. We're in need of something outside of ourselves. Capricorn then is the universal consciousness. Leo deals with my ego. Ego is a measure of the separation from the universe. Aquarius deals with the universal ego. Finally, Virgo deals with entropy. In Leo, a creative force operating in a direction requires a frictional or reversal force to counterbalance. Otherwise, there would be no limit on any force directed outwards. A match lit in any direction would burn out the universe without the counterbalance force. This is Newton's second law of motion. Thus, for Virgo, we have my order. The degree that takes the spiritual energy of Leo into matter as measured by entropy is a measure of my order. Pisces is a measure of the universal order, which in our realm appears chaotic. In past sections, I showed the similarities between the signs and the houses. The horoscope is a representation of both cycles. The yearly cycle, which gives the signs, and the daily cycle, given the house. Thus, it is possible to use the same words for the houses, as shown. Put them together, the result is a horoscope of an individual with Aries rising. How do we account for the varied differences in all these Aries, the archetypal masculine? Each sign has a planet that is associated with Mars in this case. The placement of that planet in the sign and houses will modify the ascendant. Astrologically, the house cusps are associated with the masculine. They are associated with the separation from the collective, which is a masculine endeavor. We can express the masculine energies by the first 6 houses. The other cusps are projected by him. Masculinity is matter separated from spirit. It is the concentration of energy crystallized into matter. Thus it can focus. The masculine separates the energy into 2 forces, but only sees one. This linear force gives a focused view of reality. It can form a monochromatic light so as to create form and matter. It is through this focused energy that the masculine plays its role in the drama of life. While men were scurrying towards their masculine roles as provider, women, with their mysteries, were pushed into the support roles. They were the receptor roles, reflections of the masculine. They were scripted to wait patiently at the door with slippers in one hand and a martini in the other. This is Psyche in the Garden of Eros. During the age of Aries, 2000 BC to 0, women were second-class citizens. They were mere property to their male captors. Their function was to do the work that males didn't want to do and have babies. Christ ushered in the Piscean age. Women were elevated from slavery to being placed on a pedestal. They were the essence of purity. Visualize Parzival fighting battles with Blanche Fleur, his lady-in-waiting, at his side, cheering him on. Femininity represents the other half, the incomplete portion of the masculine. It represents the spiritual side. It represents the universe that the Aries or masculine projected out. Thus, Libra is the representation of the feminine spirit. So, similarly, let us construct a horoscope by incorporating the Libra wheel with the house wheel. In contrast to the masculine, which is focused energy, the feminine is diffuse. She knows all values, all wisdom, all consciousness, and so forth. She is a nebulous blob that contains all the secrets of the universe. It is spirit, our connection to the programmer. As such, it lacks direction. It needs a force to activate it towards a direction, the masculine force. The feminine spirit is here to serve. She contains all the wisdom to serve her outer half of the world. The spirit of the feminine is manifested in many ways. Each planet has an aura or spirit which influences the commander. Similarly, the gods and goddesses of mythology are reflected in the planets as they play their roles. Again, the masculine, represented by the house and sign, is a projection into the world so as to receive impressions. The feminine is represented by the void, act as an operator that can manifest a change in the personality. For the first half of the cycle, the masculine projection is making its way in the universe. We term this the yang portion of the cycle. During the second half, the feminine operator works creating a change. In this reality, the masculine projection is placed in a situation of unconsciousness and a state of need. This brings on the yin portion of the cycle. These rhythmic cycles are called scripts. Scripts are dramas that people play when they are unconscious and involve time. There are yang and yin scripts. In the first diagram, the yang hero is winning in the yang portion. Something happens and the yin cycle starts with the hero losing. In the second diagram, the yin hero loses and then starts winning. In either case, our hero will have repetitive processes, and except for different cast of players, the process keeps repeating throughout life. Some people, due to their karma, have lucky charts. They are the winners. They spend a lot of time winning. These are the winners and the people that we wish we were. There are also the losers. They have a small winning side and spend most of their time losing. We pity these people. They always get the short end of the stick. However, who is the real loser? Both. These are unconscious scripts, and neither leads towards growth. It may be better to be a loser. Maybe it will develop a desire to make some changes. These changes, hopefully, will lead to consciousness. Not so with winners. Winners don't usually change while they're winning. The only chance will be that small losing window. This is another example of the illusionary nature of the obvious. In our weakness lies our strength, and in our strength lies our weakness. In this session, I showed a numbering system which is comparable to the firing order of an 8-cylinder engine. In the next session, I will use this firing order in the Aries and the number 1 script. I hope you are enjoying these sessions. Please give a thumb up, subscribe, and leave comments. Until then, I wish you a good day.